King's widow has claimed she was blindsided to learn that the legendary journalist left a handwritten amendment in his will that completely wrote her out of any inheritance. King reportedly added the note on October 17, 2019, advising for an even split of his $2 million estate to his 5 children in the event of his death. It would have been written 2 months after he filed for divorce from his 7th wife, Sean, who has said that she will now go to court to fight for her share as she claims that King could have been pressured into the change. The 61-year-old claims that she and King had a very watertight family estate plan. They put it together as a couple in 20. It still exists, and it is the legitimate will. Period, she told Page 6. And I fully believe it will hold up, and my attorneys are going to be filing a response, probably by the end of the day. The issue of King's inheritance was already problematic before Sean threatened. King had said in the amendment wished for the money to be split evenly between his 5 children, Andy, Chaya, Lekanan, and Chance. However, Andy and Chaya both died within a month of each other in 20. Share this article. It was made even more complex because the host split from Sean was not yet complete at the time of his death last month. The pair, who had been married for 22 years, the longest of any of King's 8 marriages, filed for divorce in August 2019, but it had not yet been settled. Sean claimed to Page 6 that she had become close with her former husband once more, despite a rumored estrangement when they first filed for divorce, and they spoke to each other Based on the timeline, it just doesn't make sense, she said of their alleged estrangement and it beats me. She also responded when asked about why he may have amended. She added that Chance, 21, and Cannon, 20, her sons with King, were also shocked to learn that she had been written out of the inheritance. They are not happy about this, Sean claimed, simply responding yes and not elaborating further when questioned about whether King was influenced into attaching. If Sean is successful in winning a share of the money, it would likely only net her $300,000, as the $2 million could be divided between her, King's 3 surviving children, and the descendants of Andy and Chaya. It's the principle, she claimed of her legal challenge. King died of sepsis on January 23 at the age of 87 in Los Angeles after battling COVID-19. Sean previously said that he was ready to go as he fought off an infection in the hospital after beating the King is believed to have caught coronavirus from a healthcare worker visiting his home, a source told NBC. One of his sons, who has not been named, has also tested positive, they said. King's advanced stage and poor health placed him at elevated. He had suffered numerous health issues in the past, including a heart attack, prostate and lung cancer, a stroke, and type 2 diabetes. On Saturday, his cause of death was confirmed as sepsis, likely triggered by a bacteria. His death was not directly related to his hospitalization for COVID-19 in December, according to his death certificate obtained by. Sean has said that King's last words to her were over a video call from the hospital: "I love you, take care of the boy." She told Entertainment Tonight, "It was an infection, it was sepsis. Well, he was finally ready to go. He never wanted to go, but his sweet little body was it had just been hit so many times with so many things, and once we heard the word COVID, all of our hearts, but he beat it, he beat it, but it did take its toll, and then the unrelated infection finally is what took him, but boy, he was not gonna go." While heartbroken, Sean said she grateful for how Larry's death put things into perspective, saying, "Death is maybe the great equalizer, when you experience it with people who we really, really love, all the other noise and the nonsense that could be surrounding, it just goes away, and the family goes close together." And that's what happened. It was beautiful. Chance and Cannon were reported to be at their dad's side when he passed. Larry also has 59-year-old son Larry King Jr. from his marriage to Annette K. His sons remembered him in joint statement shared to Facebook shortly after news of King's death, writing, "We are heartbroken over our father's death, and together with our extended family." The 3 noted that, while the world knew Larry King as a great broadcaster and interviewer, he was the man who lovingly obsessed over their daily. In addition to caring for their well-being, the trio said their father took pride in their accomplishments, regardless if they were large, small, or. The amendment to King's will had said that it should replace all He added that in the event of his death, he wanted 100% of his funds to be divided equally among my children Andy, Chaya, Larry Jr., Chance. However, his son, Andy, died of a heart attack in July, and his daughter, Chaya, died in August after being diagnosed with. The King had 5 children and 9 grandchildren, as well as 4 great-grandchildren. He was also known for his string of high-profile romances and unsuccessful marriages, 8 in total, to 7 different women, including Playboy bunny Aileen Aiken. King was buried in a small private ceremony. All in attendance wore suspenders in honor of his signature style. The high-profile romances and unsuccessful marriages of Larry King. Larry was known for his string of high-profile romances and unsuccessful marriages, 8 in total to say. In his 1982 autobiography, Larry King described himself as a great date, but a lousy husband. Part of his problem was due to an abiding need to be seen with models and celebrated. 1. Frida Miller, 1952 to 1953. Annulled. King's first walk down the aisle was with his high school sweetheart Frida Miller at 18, but the union was annulled the following year at the behest of her 2. Annette K., 1961 to 1961. King then married his second wife, Annette K. in 1961, but they separated. Their relationship was brief but fruitful and resulted in a son that King didn't meet until 33 years. I knew there was a Larry King Jr. out there, it heard that, but I didn't know. The marriage was very short and she told me if it's a boy, I'm gonna name him Larry King Jr., explained the elder King to the New York Post in 2000. Then I never heard again. 3. Aileen Akins, 1961 to 1963, 1967 to 1972. Shortly after his relationship with Kay was over, King went on to marry Playboy bunny Aileen Akins, with whom he adopted a son named Andy and had a daughter. King and Akins separated after a couple of years, only to remarry again in 1967 and divorce for a second, final time in 1964. Marry Mickey Sutphin. During his 4-year separation from Akins, King found time to wed his fourth wife, Mary Mickey Sutphin, with whom he had a daughter. Kelly was later formally adopted by Suchphin's second husband. 5. Sharon Lepore, 1976 to 1983. In 1976, King tied the knot with a former math teacher and production assistant named The union lasted 7 years, making it King's second longest marriage to date. 2 years into the marriage, King declared bankruptcy, owing more than $300,000. He and Sharon were divorced in 1982. 6. Julie Alexander, 1989 to 1992. He remained single for a long stretch of 6 years between his 6th and 7th marriage to Philadelphia-based businesswoman Julie. In the summer of 1989, King met Julie and proposed on the very first date. They married 3 months later, were separated by 1990 and formally divorced 2 years. I love being in love, he told Anderson Cooper in a 2009 interview. 7. Sean Southwick, 1997 to 2019. In 1997, King married his 7th and last wife, Sean Southwick, a singer, actress and TV host that was 26 years. The couple married in a Los Angeles hospital room 3 days before King underwent heart surgery to clear clogged blood. They welcomed 2 sons, Chance, born March 1999, and Cannon, born May 2000. On their 10th wedding anniversary in 2007, Southwick joked that she was the only wife to have lasted into the 2 digits. 3 years later, the couple filed for divorce in 2010 after Sean had an affair with her son's much younger baseball. At the same time, rumors were swirling that King was having an affair with Sean's sister, which both parties vehemently denied. The couple reconciled but eventually called it quits after 22 years of marriage in August 2019. Southwick said she was totally blindsided by King's bombshell court filing. Advertise.